All right. Here we go.
Okay.
That would be us.
There. Are we on? Okay. Are we on?
Yes, we are. Hello, everybody. You're looking at a live shot from deep in a bunker inside of Ranger HQ. My name is Matt Finley. I'm the president of Exile Entertainment, and we're going to take you through some of the stuff that's part of our big update today. With me is Chris Keenan, who's the project director on the project, and Brian Fargo, of course. Brian?
Yep. Hey guys. Sorry we got a little slow this morning. We've been running around with the chickens with our heads cut off, trying to get the Steam update. There's always last-minute technical issues, but there we are. I know it's a very large, was a large upload, so I know it's a large download, and so it'll take you guys a while before you get it. But it's been a major overhaul for the UI as it relates to the character screen and the inventory, which Chris is going to show off here. It's silky smooth now. It's really great. We've added new maps, and we've said before the game is huge. We put in a lot more, we call them cops maps, smaller encounters, some other areas, and it's still less than half the game, and it's like it's taking people a good 30 hours. Hey, we appeared on the thing to just get through this part. So it is a very large game. I'm going to be here all day, so if you guys have questions, throw them up there, and I'll jump back on it and answer them. And in the meantime, I'm going to turn over to Chris so that he can show off all the new UI elements, and then we're going to show you some of the new area of effect weapons and the new reactivity we put in. So anyway, Chris, all yours.
Cool.
All right.
Matt, you want to get me live?
Yeah, let's get the camera off of us.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump in. Is this editor? It is, huh?
That is actually in the editor, yes.
Cool. So what you guys are seeing right now, hopefully, is our, it looks like it's on, is our development environment. So we do work within Unity, and some of you guys who have used it before will probably notice the layout in there. So what you're going to see up in the upper right-hand corner, it looks like it's a little bit messed up. That's an Atlas thing, but that's not going to be in the final build. So just to jump into it, one of the main issues that we had last time was with the inventory, it was really clunky. It was hard to kind of see stats within those things. We tried to see if we could go, straight list-based and have a good amount of stats on there, but it turns out that unless we took it full screen, you really wouldn't be able to see too much detail. We only got about 3 to 4 lines in there. So we had always kind of hoped that we could go with a more list-based approach, more icon-based approach. And so this is the first look right here outside of the update that we did, where you're going to see this in action. So you'll notice when you open it up that we have that same all items tab is on there, and then we also have an all party member tab. So if you switch over here, by clicking on that list and highlighting the all items, you can see everything that your party has. So everything does have a hover over on it. When you hover over, you get to see all the deep details on the things that you're interested in. So for Field Medic Pack, it talks about what skill in blue right above, right under the name Medic Pack. You'll see that it uses the Field Medic skill, then gives you a little bit of information on how to use it and breaks down some of the stats that are behind it, as well as the cost of scrap and the weight of it. So here's pain relievers. You'll notice that there isn't that blue text up top. That means that anybody can use the pain relievers. You don't have to be a medic like you do with the Medic Pack. And things like, we have a suture kit in there. We still have the right-click menu on there. It is old art. We'll go ahead and update that soon. But if you examine items, this gives you the descriptions that we had in there. And a lot of these descriptions are a little bit more narrative-based. There's not going to be a ton of gameplay information in there. But this is just a way for us to kind of bring a little bit of extra personality into each of the items. So when you hover over things like the weapons, you get to see all of the stats that we were missing before. So this weapon right here, the M1 Carbine, is 5 to 8 damage, 68% hit chance, 24% crit chance. The next number you see after that is if you crit, how much of a multiplier of damage can you get? So even within the same class, you're going to see some weapons that might have slightly lower.
Sorry, I couldn't see anything. It was the glasses.
I got moaned at from behind. You'll get to see slightly larger crit chances with some, and potentially some that have much higher damage values if they do a critical attack. Then the next thing you see is the max range and the clip size, as well as if there's multiple fire types. So this one right here has a 5 action point single shot, or for an additional action point, you can burst with 3 rounds. Burst is extremely awesome, but with something that's shooting 7.62s, you're going to go through a lot of ammo doing it. So you really have to selectively pick out where you're going to do it. Let me just make sure everything, seems like everything is still smooth there. Alright, so at the top, if we start selecting through to the different tabs, notice that there's a weapon tab, same armor tab, nobody has any armor right now. This is an ammo tab. When you're in the all list, if you hover over an item in the all list, it will show you which guy has it available. So you can see that it changes colors a little bit in there. Miscellaneous items, usable items, and junk. So if you're playing through and say you have a guy, you don't care about 36 rounds, you can flag them as junk, in which case they will go to your junk tab. When you go to a store, you'll be able to offload all of those items into the store. So that's kind of the basics behind the backpack system right there.
Here, if you want to see what it looks like with a full party and a lot more inventory items, I can click this here. We're switching over to a save game from the actual build, and here's the full system again with a lot more items going on.
Yes, agreed. Anything would be better than the old inventory. That's
Unfortunately, none of this saves you from having to use the old version of the store interface. We have not upgraded that, so you're going to have to grin and bear it until the next update on all of that.
Yes, as soon as we put this in, we had a bunch of comments on inventory needs work, on the character sheet, all that stuff, but as soon as we got the new backpack in, it became immediately apparent that our stores and merchants is going to be the next thing. So probably in the next, say, 2 to 3 week update, we'll get something in there so it allows you to work with the economy a little bit better. And here is the character sheet. At the very top, you'll see that there's 4 different tabs along the top. So you have your character, attributes, skills, and then your dossier from when you set up the character initially. To select through the different characters, you also highlight here.
Click the 6.
Oh, hold on 1 second, please.
No,
I can't get out of that.
Forget it.
So, one thing that you see with this is that we have a party list on the left here for the character sheet. We also have a party list on the left of the backpack. And it kind of turns into a huge amount of party icons that are just placed throughout the world. So we're actually playing with something right now where if you open both of these at the same time, this party list on the left goes away, and so now you have this party list in the center, and you can trade items quickly through there. Right now, it's a little bit weird. Sometimes you might have the top guy selected, Big Bird, and you're looking at somebody else's items, but thankfully you can migrate weapons through from somebody else's backpack into a direct equip. So the first thing in the character sheet, you've got your primary and secondary slots. So these are the ones that you can press X to hot swipe back and forth between. The clothing items are not in this build, but that is something very cool that we've been working on. All of our character parts are pretty modular. So when we built the characters, we wanted to get a good amount of variety in there where we had, within the same area, we could take maybe 3 to 4 torso pieces and then 5 to 6 heads, 4 to 5 legs and down, and so we're able to mix and match between those to create pretty good variation amongst the characters so they don't all look the same and have the same model. So with that system, we're also able to allow you guys, once you kill anybody in the Wasteland, to be able to take different parts from them as well. Probably not face, but you'll be able to take their helmets and their chest piece and the rest of that. So that'll be coming in a further build. When you look just below the character sheet, you're going to see skills and attributes over there. Now, these allow you to, anybody that played World of Warcraft proper will probably understand how these things work. It's a drop down. You can select different things you want. It holds through your different characters. So if I want to check, say maybe I'm looking at new weapons that I picked up, I can change this to an offensive tab. Now it's going to tell me my stats with that character based on the weapon that I have within there. So if I change out different weapons, then I will also be able to see, let's see, so let's try, I think I have that shotgun, let's put an RPG-7 in there. And so you'll notice that the hit chance changed there. So as soon as I put the RPG-7 in, you can tell Big Bert probably does not have anything with the heavy weapons. No, he doesn't. So he's got a base hit of 15%. He can still use it, but he's probably going to fire it somewhere in a random angle and possibly not hit his target. The crit chance is also really low. So this gives you a little bit better understanding as you're mixing and matching things around. You know exactly what kind of damage your character is going to do, what his hit chance is on it. So that is the character sheet. Then you can move over to the attributes. And within the attributes section, again, hover overs that talk about the details of what's contained within that attribute. So if you potentially, at some points later on in the game, you'll notice that it says attribute points available and commit points. We are playing around with allowing people every certain amount, 5 levels, maybe 10 levels, depending on our progression, to get an additional attribute point. And we've kind of decided that being in the Wasteland is something that will probably change a person, especially going from a new recruit and playing through for a decent amount of time. So we're going to allow you to go ahead and up some of those along the way. Skills. When you jump into the skills section, you'll see the very first at the top is learned skills. So what this means is that we still have our weapons, general, and knowledge skills. As you spec a point into a skill, it's going to jump up to the very top to your learned skills, and they do go in descending order there. So you can tell really quickly just by highlighting through guys what their top skill is. So we have Pills. She's handgun, field medic, surgeon, bladed, and heavy. That's much lower. So this gives you a pretty good opportunity to see your distribution of skills between the different characters and see what you're strong at and what maybe needs a little bit of work. So here we have a couple skill points. We'll just go ahead and put one into computer science and commit it. And again, back to the tooltips. All of the skills have tooltips on there. So if you're not quite sure what a skill is going to do, it'll give you a little bit better understanding by going through. And finally, let's see what else. The dossier is going to look pretty similar to the way it was before. It's just been shrunk down a bit to fit within this window. So that is the high-level overview of the 2 new screens. We modified the new HUD as well. I think it looks gorgeous compared to where we're at. So it looks very streamlined. The colors are similar. You'll see right here, Logbook is a pop-up on the side. Logbook hasn't had the same treatment that some of the other ones have. So we have that planned on the future list. So it's not going to look exactly like this. It'll be more in touch with the other screens that we were just showing off. We also have the new hotkey bar with the color icons on the bottom. Now if I click on the bar, left or right click, it brings up anything that I can put into that bar. So that includes active skills. It includes items that are within your backpack that you can actually click to use within the world. So by selecting the item, I can then go ahead and place it within that character's backpack. So let's see if she's already got everything loaded there. He's good.
I think I already loaded them all.
Yep. Yeah, they seem to be solid.
Go back to pills and use the pill. Give somebody aspirin.
Alright, so let's find out where my guys are. Alright, so everybody is pretty healed right now. So we'll go ahead.
Nobody needs it, but yeah.
Yeah, so by selecting either the hotkey for it, so in this case it would be 3, or just clicking on the portrait, after you use it, it will heal whichever character you want to. So over here on the left-hand side, change stance. That's a new feature that we just put in. That's going to take them down to a crouch stance. So there's 2 states to it. You can either stand or crouch. When you're crouching, it essentially acts as like half cover. So if you're going to prepare for a fight, within the fight it costs you action points to be able to do it. But if you use it outside of the fight, you can get guys in more of a strategic prepared mode and ready for the fight to start by setting them down there. And what it does is it costs you action points to go up and down, but it will do half the amount of evasion as real cover does if you use it, and it'll also increase your chance to hit as well on enemies. You're a little bit more steady when you're down, so that's another new addition. And we still have these buttons got swapped around a little bit, but you'll see as you cycle through the different characters, depending on what their makeup is what buttons are going to be out there. So right here we have Bear. Bear's got a Nakhanov AN-94. She can swap her weapon to her secondary, which is a saw. That's also new. We got some new heavy weapons in the game. She can reload, or switch fire mode. So when I switch the fire mode from single, right over here, shots fired per burst goes into 3, and now my action point cost to use it as well goes up. So the saw has a single fire mode, and it does 5 shots per pull of the trigger. So that one is a pretty hefty ammo eater. All right, cool. I think I did the full walk around. Oh, somebody said comparison in there. Let me quickly bring this up. So when I have a character selected,
I don't think the hotkeys on this machine.
Oh, no hotkey on the machine. Weak. So there is actually a hotkey. When you're inside the backpack, if you press the hotkey, it will put side by side a weapon comparison. So the currently equipped weapon is going to be on the right-hand side in this instance, and the current weapon would be sitting over here on the left. So it gives you a really quick way to be able to tell if the weapon that's in your backpack is actually better, and if you want to equip that one. Cool. Well, that's my run-through. Thank you, guys. I'm going to go ahead and put it back on to Matt and grab some other guys from the team. So the update is live now, and when you guys check it out, we really, really hope that you think it's as interesting as we did. We spent a lot of time clearing up, issue after issue. We went through combat and from top to bottom just broke it down into each individual piece. We, broke apart the animation section and the sound section and the AI, and we put a good amount of polish into each one of those. So while that is not necessarily a new feature to the game, I think that it has a very different feel from the last beta version that was out. So thanks, guys.
Yeah, I'd love to tell you that we have a well-planned Twitch broadcast today that we spent all weekend crafting, but the reality is Chris and I spent about 35 hours this weekend just playing through the beta and having a blast doing it. So for the rest of this broadcast, we'll be making this up as we go.
Who would you like me to grab?
Why don't you get some combat dudes?
Excellent.
Alright, I'm going to switch back from the build to the editor. Which I will restart. Here it comes. Devin.
Hey guys.
Say hi to everybody. Zach, say hi to everybody.
How you doing? My name's Devin Morrow, and I'm the combat designer for the game. And
my name is Alindor Vulai. I'm also a combat designer on the game.
Okay, so I've got High Pool loaded up here, which theoretically will start playing in a second.
Which camera are we looking at?
You're looking at the camera with the magic blue light on it. So Devin, why don't you drive? And
if you don't mind, Zach, why don't you?
Either way.
Zach's our encounters guy. I focus more on the systems.
So this is actually a level that was a part of the early access from the beginning. This is High Pool. If you go to save High Pool, and one of the things that we're going to show off right here is the fact that we've gone back and revisited all those encounters individually and tried to make them more tactical. Some of that's through placing cover objects, making sure there's ladders and height in different various areas, and then making sure in each encounter we kind of had the right combination of the various UIs or AIs for people to combat. So take it away. Actually, could you do me one favor and click on that X so I can get that window out of my way? Fantastic, thank you. Oh, actually this one too.
How many people we have in here? I love that voice actor.
Just blow that guy up with a propane tank.
Exactly. But there's also consequences. Sometimes it could actually backflash and get you. Like it just hit all my guys for 10 each.
You were sitting a little too close.
Yep. As you can see, guys will take actual height advantages if it's available to them, so they can actually get a really good drop on you.
Oh yeah, destructible cover. That's another thing that's gone in the last couple of weeks.
So one of the first things he did with his sniper character was to take a step back. And one of the things we wanted to accomplish with this pass, and even more so going forward, are the idea of weapons having behaviors, right? Like your choice of weapon, in some ways, dictates what kind of chess piece you're going to be. So the sniper rifle, as you would expect a sniper rifle to function, is not really great at point-blank range. So in order to get a solid hit chance, he needed to take a step back, a couple steps back, to be able to hit the guy in front of him. And you'll notice that there's the same penalty for the assault rifle, although it's slightly less of a disadvantage up close. The submachine gun, the pistol, the shotgun, none of those have those disadvantages. Are we monitoring comments so we can kind of respond?
Yeah, they're right there.
Okay. Let me get by it real quick.
Yeah, kind of hard to read it. At the same
Yeah,
time.
right? You just don't die. The streaming's not working well.
Yeah, apparently the game's looking a little chunky to you guys, but not so much for us here looking at it live, which is not really a great experience for you guys.
Yeah.
We might be just pumping up too much resolution, but I'm afraid if I change it now, it's all going to go to hell.